Who knew? 50 Great Kiwi Innovations by Steve Bowling. Don't fence me in, Bill Gallagher and his electric fence. Shocking! The electric fence was the most significant advance in fencing since the introduction of steel wire in the 1860s. The idea is that stock not only respond to a short, sharp electric shock when they come into contact with an electric fence, but they also remember that shock and tend to avoid contact in future, as would you. Cultural engineer, hydroelectricity pioneer, William Hudson. Although he probably didn't know it at the time, Nelson-born civil engineer William Hudson was to become an agent for cultural as well as economic change. In 1949, at the age of 53, Hudson was in charge of Australia's Snowy Mountains hydroelectric scheme, one of the lucky country's most significant post-war undertakings. The Snowy Mountains scheme harnessed snowmelt from the Australian Alps and took it west under the mountains to irrigate the arid interior for food production, generating power along the way. The Kiwi that flew, Richard Pearce. Would you be celebrating if you had just extracted yourself from a hedge after falling into it from quite some height and at quite some speed? Richard Pearce did, but then again he was an unusual man. We're talking about someone achieving powered flight at a time when the horse and cart was the prevalent means of travelling in New Zealand. A.J. Hackett Bungee opened for business at the Kawarau Bridge in Queenstown in 1988 with a 30-day operating license. Just 28 people paid $75 each to leap off the 43-metre bridge with a bungee cord around their ankles. Their tactics featured no-nonsense forward play and rocking, particularly figured strongly, rocking, applying a judicious dose of sprigs to stop your opponent, preventing the ball coming your way in the ruck, became a defining feature of New Zealand rugby. Motivated innovator, John Britton and the Britton motorcycle. John Britton is remembered for his persuasive charm and for his Kiwi can-do attitude. Although Britton was an intuitive mechanical engineer with an artistic bent, he was also a businessman, property developer, and manager in Christchurch, and this enabled him to famously pursue his long-standing need for speed. Only 10 of these noisy, world-beating motorbikes were made, and these now sit mostly quietly in collections and museums around the world. Place your bets. George Julius, Totalizer. A betting machine from the son of a minister? Who knew? Sir George Alfred Julius, 1873 to 1947, was the founder of Julius Poole and Gibson and Automatic Totalizator, who gave us the tote. Julius's original idea was for a machine that would count votes rather than bets, but the powers that be didn't cotton on. He therefore adapted it for the racecourse instead, and did rather well as a result. Opening up the universe, Beatrice Tinsley and astronomy theory. Beatrice Tinsley and astronomy theory. Beatrice Muriel Hill Tinsley, 1941 to 1981, was an astronomer and cosmologist from New Plymouth, who became recognized internationally for her contributions to the theory of galactic evolution. Her research on how galaxies evolve over time changed how distances to far galaxies were measured, and this in turn was significant in determining the size of the universe and its rate of expansion. Although she made her name staring at the stars, it appears Tinsley spent much of her career looking at them through a glass ceiling. The original CSI forensic pioneer Sydney Smith. Sir Sydney Smith, 1883 to 1969, has been called the father of forensics. He has also been compared to the man who inspired Sir Arthur Conan Doyle to create Sherlock Holmes. Another key case in 1924 involved the Governor-General of Sudan, who was shot to death in the street in Cairo. Smith pioneered ballistic techniques to confirm the origin of the fatal bullets, and the perpetrators were proven to be responsible for not just the one shooting, but a series of political assassinations. Looking way ahead, David Beech's Kiwi star optics. David Beech is a physicist with broad interests, to say the least. His experience spans fields as diverse as optics, lasers, X-rays, astronomy, thermonuclear plasmas, and Stonehenge. He was with the United Kingdom Atomic Energy Authority for 14 years, where his research included ultra-high-speed photography, the design of seismometers to detect underground testing of nuclear weapons, and high-powered lasers, to mention just a cross-section. Kiwi Star Optics, the company IRL set up to market and manufacture these incredible lenses and optical systems, still operates out of Lower Hutt. The original, Maurice Yock's, or John Cowie's, Jandal. There is significant debate about who was the first to make the iconic minimalist footwear that we now call jandals. What isn't disputed is that it was originally inspired by traditional Japanese zori footwear, which isn't made of rubber or plastic. York dreamed up the name, but Kiwi had been making dandles out of plastic in Hong Kong since the 1940s. Swan Dry. William Broome, 1873 to 1943, was a snappy dresser. He'd rarely be seen without his bowler hats and three-piece suits. Not quite the image you would expect of the man who invented the swan dry. Born in Staffordshire in England, at 21 Broome emigrated to New Zealand and settled in New Plymouth again, where he started up in business as a clothier, mercer, a dealer in cloth, and tailor, hence the sartorial schmutter. Sartorial to do with clothing, making it well dressed. The swan dries were made above Broome's shop from woolen fabric produced in Otago, but the weatherproofing process was done in a shed in the backyard of the family home in Doralto Road, New Plymouth. Who knew? 50 Great Kiwi Innovations by Steve Bowling. Kiwi Star Optics, the company IRL set up to market and manufacture these incredible lenses and optical systems, still operates out of Lower Hutt. Kiwi Star Optics, the company IRL set up to market and manufacture these incredible lenses and optical systems, still operates out of Lower Hutt. Kiwi Star Optics, the company IRL set up to market and manufacture these incredible lenses and optical systems, still operates out of Lower Hutt. Kiwi Star Optics, the company IRL set up to market and manufacture these incredible lenses and optical systems, still operates out of Lower Hutt. The idea is that stock not only respond to a short, sharp electric shock when they come into contact with an electric fence, but they also remember that shock and tend to avoid contact. Ouch! The idea is that stock not only respond to a short, sharp electric shock, ouch, when they come into contact with an electric fence, but they also remember that shock and tend to avoid contact in future, as would you.